Capturing life is probably the most important thing, because if you can capture the motion of a person or an object in real life, then it'll transfer to being more realistic on the page. I'm watching like movies and stuff, and it's just like, whoa, they're moving like that. Can people actually do that? Or is it kind of like, oh, okay, so now I can draw a person doing that because I've seen it in real life. The audience has to believe what you're showing to them. Like if an arm's broken as you're drawing it, it's gonna look weird, and people are gonna get thrown out of the animation kind of. Cartoon derives from acting, and acting takes some stuff from cartoons. Like you see Charlie Chaplin will do stuff that you'll see in Bugs Bunny, so it's hand in hand. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of almost sacrifice. Just draw, and just the love of drawing is what really helps motivate you too. You gotta look at all of your peers first, and then even going online and seeing what's being done in the industry, and kind of going from that and setting that like a benchmark and being like, I need to get there or past that, and just striving to be as good as you can be.
As far as my style goes, I don't know, I guess I like typography a lot and using it in ways that it's not necessarily meant to be used. And I also really like doing a lot of very detail-oriented stuff with like smaller shapes, creating a bigger composition, that sort of thing, combining different mediums and different approaches. I really tried to have, something kind of clever hidden in it, because I find for me the work that I enjoy the most, like art, it's something that you can come back to and look at and see from a different perspective every single time, or there's something hidden in it, so that you're discovering something almost every time. It's different when it's actually your hands that's creating something, as opposed to there being almost like a layer in between, as there is with the computer. So it's nice to actually be able to put pen to paper, or you'd be standing in line waiting for something. You're like, those are the people, like when you see someone with their hands all tied up in like charcoal or clay or something, you can be like, oh, I know exactly what it is you're up doing, what you're doing, and you can totally relate that way. A lot of people, I think art is just about, you get this lightning moment of clarity, and yes, this is what's going to happen, but a lot of it is trial and error and experimenting, and seeing what works out the best.
Pen, paper, and pencil are crucial, and I think you'll find that with most students in a creative field. I don't think that I've ever started a project where I didn't have to figure it out visually on paper first. Even if it's just coming up with an idea, not necessarily just layout, but I have a really hard time thinking things through in my head, so getting out as many ideas as possible, even the bad ones, so that I can see on paper what works and what doesn't is really important. I always think of my uncle, who's a carpenter, and he always said whenever he's finished a project, he never wants to look at it again, because he'll always see something that needs to be improved. One of the, pros about our field is that it's digital in a large sense, so we can go back and make changes. But at the same time, if it's for a client and it's going out into the real world, you can't touch it again or improve upon it. So I have the same approach where I'm done a project, I know that I've done sort of like thorough investigation, and I've done everything I can to make it successful, and I just sort of set it to the side and move on to the next thing, rather than bask in the glory of what I've created. But there's definitely a sense of accomplishment once you're finished a project, especially when it's long-lasting and a lot of work and effort has gone into it.